Yes, yes, yes. Peace and blessings, my good people. I just wanted to come forth with a message that hopefully some folks will have a chance to tap into a little bit later. And I wanted to really tap into a year in review now that we are moving out of our 2020 timeline into the timeline of 2021. So as we know, 2020 is a building year, right? 2020, if you add up to 0, greetings, welcome. Greetings, welcome. So I was just starting to talk about this year, 2020, and really having it be a year in review. 2020, as we know, is a building year. If you add up 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, you get 40. If you add 4 plus 0, you get 4. 4 represents the 4 pillars. It's the foundation. And so this year, what we experienced through this global pandemic, world shutdown, global reset, whatever you want to call it, what we experienced is a rebuilding. The veil was lifted off of all of the illusion, and the pillars that were built on things that are beyond the imprints of white psychosis and patriarchy, that are built on other new earth currencies, are still standing, and the things that were built on bullshit we're literally watching fall apart. And so because this was a building year, we were challenged. Our very foundation was challenged to the core, and we really had to ask ourselves, what are we really standing on? What do we really believe in? What do we really believe? How are we really moving when we have to really go within ourselves? And so what happened was there was a lot of people who took the time of 2020 to wait until something happened, whether they were waiting until shelter in place to end, waiting until they defunded the police, waiting until the fires ended, because I was in California where there were so many fires, waiting until the election ended, waiting until the vaccine comes, waiting until the inauguration, waiting until they get their stimulus check, right? There's this mentality of people just waiting for shit and not really able to actually activate and create their own momentum. And so my question for you, if now you've had a whole year, right? You can play bunny foo-foo for the first couple weeks of March. Maybe you didn't really know what was going on. But now here we are in December. We literally have 2 last weeks. We're moving into the last quarter, the last 3 weeks of the year. Now we really have to be looking back with the 2020 vision that we've been provided and asking ourselves some serious questions about, are we really going to continue waiting for something? Because when you see, every time you think that something that you're waiting for is going to manifest, there's just another distraction, another death, doom, and gloom, another, argument or narrative put forth of why you need to keep waiting on your own life. And that is a major imprint of white psychosis and white patriarchy. It's this linear, compartmentalized, either or mentality that teaches everybody that you have to do this, and then if you do this. And 1 plus 1 doesn't always equal 2, even though we've been taught that it does. Right? And so we need to begin to move beyond these constructions, because these are the same people who constructed borders when we know that the Most High does not see borders. These are the same people who constructed gender, who constructed race, who constructed blue states, red states, anti-vax, anti-mask, wear a mask, all of these constructions. And so even the so-called progressives find themselves in a place where they're still now making someone be the devil, making someone be the evil cast in this cast of characters, in this theater of the world. We need a villain. That's the word I was looking for. A villain, someone to make the reason why. If everybody would have stayed home, the reason why is because everybody didn't stay home. So again, there's always someone else. The reason why is because we didn't do this. There's always this external reason why your life isn't the way that you want it to be. And part of our job right now is that we don't get to make those excuses anymore. You can't tell your children You don't get to, in the ancient Kemet world, they said that when someone passed away, they went into the underworld and they looked to see if their heart would be weighed on the scales of Ma'at, and would your heart be as light as a feather. That on one side of the scale was your heart, and on the other side of the scale was a feather. And you had to be as light as a feather, right? You don't get to tell your children that the reason why you didn't live your best life is because of COVID, or because of white people, or because of Republicans, or because of Democrats. And the reason why you didn't live your best life and fulfill your destiny is because there was some external force. Because if our ancestors thought like that, we wouldn't be here. We would not be here. And so part of that ability to understand who you are is to understand that even in the midst of what they're showing you, right? Because just because you see it doesn't mean that's all there is to see. And we know that we don't even run these companies. We don't even control these algorithms. These companies have all of our data. So it's very clear. They have more data points on you than have ever been known in humanity, right? So they know very clearly what they want to show you to keep you debilitated, to keep you in a state of waiting, so you can be a cog in their system, rather than creating your own momentum, activating your own power for change. And so change requires a new earth currency. And that new earth currency that is required is the currency of imagination. That if you cannot vision a life for yourself outside, I always would say sometimes Black people's highest aspiration is putting a Black man in the White House. Not saying that that is not something to aspire for, meaning that the level of imagination, right? Sorry, it's kind of dark, y'all. What just happened there? There we go. The level of imagination is only limited to what they can see, they have been showed. That's why many people couldn't even fathom a Black president, because they had never seen one. And so the power, the currency of imagination, the currency of being able to see beyond what you see in front of you, beyond the news, beyond the feed, beyond the illusion. Somebody's got to see something more. Somebody's got to hold a vision, as Martin Luther King did when he had a dream, even though there was nothing tangible in his reality that would have allowed him to know that that was possible. Harriet Tubman had to imagine a life for herself beyond chattel slavery. Even though she didn't have the internet, she didn't have GPS maps, she had to know that she was being guided by something more. And right now, you are no different. If you're looking at your life, if you're looking at your finances, if you're looking at your relationships, if you're looking at your body, if you're looking at your business, if you're looking at your health, and you're not seeing what you want to see, you've got to be able to tap in to your own internal currency of imagination to move beyond that. There is nothing external that needs to happen that you're going to wait on a new stimulus package, a new person in the White House. That is never going to be the end all be all. I'm not saying don't do those things, but don't put all your faith and all your stock in those things. And so this is very, very important as you do your 2020 year in review, because like I mentioned before, 2020 was a building year. The pillars that you created in this year, or lack thereof, or whether you built a pillar, regardless, you built 4 pillars, whether you built them on things that would be strong and be sustainable, and whether you built them on your own power and your own purpose, or whether you built it on something external, the pillars are there. And so that's the foundation that you're going to be moving forth with into the next year, because 2021, when you add it together, adds up to 5. And 5, coming out of the cycle of the 4, 5 represents creativity, freedom, and expression. Creativity, freedom, and expression. Again, those are part of those new earth currencies that you're going to have to be able to get free. And your freedom doesn't matter if you're sitting in the house or if you have the ability to travel somewhere else. Your freedom is a mindset. It's a mindset that says, am I going to be one of those people who sat around waiting all year for something to happen, for them to tell me I could go back to work, for them to tell me when I have to take the vaccine, for them to tell me that there's someone new that's going to be my savior and that's going to lead me into the promised land? Or the people who went within this year and said, you know what? I don't know what the fuck they doing out there because I can't actually change that. I can influence that. But the only thing that I have complete sovereignty and dominion over, the ability for me to change, is myself. That's the only thing that you have the ability to control and can change. And so some of us went in this year and said, you know what? I'm about to step my health game up. You know what? I'm about to take some new classes. You know what? I'm about to connect with some people, even if it's in the virtual world, who I haven't connected with. You know what? I'm about to step my financial game up and get my money right. You know what? I'm about to do a budget. You know what? I'm about to go within and get myself together so that I can build the 4 pillars for my own personal foundation, so that I can transition into this 5-year of creativity, expression, and freedom with my own sovereignty of mindset. Because despite the illusion, people are making hella money this year. People are thriving this year. Yes, there is death, there is destruction, and there is always going to be the shadow. And there is no way that I want to devalue or understate that. There are people very close to me, family members. I have lost people this year because of Corona. So I'm not saying that, but I'm going to say people die every day. There's never been a time where people aren't dying. Okay? I'm sure that I had ancestors at some point who were on plantations. Let's keep it all the way real. Who were on the bottom of slave ships. Let's keep it all the way real. Going through the Ma'afa. Niggas was dying. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't give up. They didn't throw the towel in and think that that was just going to be the end all be all. Somebody had to imagine beyond that, or in order for us to be here today. Especially for those of you who are children, for who are parents, and all of us are parents. We all have children in our village. What are we teaching them right now? Are we just plugging them into the matrix and telling them to plug into a computer all day and wear a mask for the rest of their damn life, and they can't touch anybody and they don't get an opportunity to touch the earth and be with loved ones? Is that where we're going with this? Because that is the people who we need to be most concerned about, is what we're teaching our children and what we're modeling. Because you don't teach your children by talking, you teach them through being. You have to be modeling what you want your children to understand by you walking in that light. And so I want us all to get this, because this whole notion of the new normal is complete uncertainty. That is the new normal. What does that mean for you? If that's the new normal, where do you need to be living to be able to be solid and have your own sense of safety in the new normal? If the new normal is uncertainty, what do you need to be putting in your body in order for you to feel grounded? How do you need to be moving your body and activating and exercising in order for you to be able to work this trauma and work that energy out? What is the life work that you need to be doing in order for your soul to be fed? Because the new normal is going to be constant change. And that's when I be looking at niggas like, oh, you didn't really believe this shit. You wanted to wear the costume. You wanted to get the African name. Oh, you wanted to put the fabric on. Oh, you wanted a necklace. Oh, you wanted to pray about change. You wanted to vote for change. But when that shit came to your door, you didn't have the juice. You couldn't hang. You were waiting for the same white people, the same system, the same patriarchal system, the same white psychosis system. You're waiting for them. But you said you was a revolutionary. But you said you was free. But you said you was an African. But you said you was a spiritual being. You said you was plant-based. You got crystals on your altar. Bitch, you out here doing yoga. You don't believe that shit. Stop it. You don't believe it. It's a costume. Because 2020 showed you who had the juice and who doesn't. And all these people who are waiting around for the next externality that they have no control over to be the reason why they go back to the new normal, because they can't live in a level of what is uncertainty? Uncertainty is unseen. That's all uncertainty is. Uncertainty does not mean worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is a mindset. Worst case scenario is you using your imagination to imagine some worst case shit. Sorry, trying to mess with my light here. But you could take that same energy and you could put it into a best case scenario, because you made the shit up. You're making it up. You're imagining, you're putting the energetic frequency, you're being the vibrational match for who you claim you are and who you claim you want to be. You're creating your future right now. What did you eat this morning? What are you spending your time doing? That's the soil that you're seeding. Those are the fruits that you're going to be eating next year. The future is now. Stop waiting around. And there's so many people, and I love you, Magnolia, for the baby hairs. That's hella funny. There's so many people we love dearly, family members. I'm telling you, I got a lot of them. And they just gonna be waiting, y'all. They just gonna be waiting. And they're not gonna move forward. And you gonna love them, you're not gonna convince them. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, if you didn't get the memo in 2020, there's nothing to be said. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can tell you. There's no class you can take. You just are where you at. I love you. Nobody said that we're all going to reach our destinies at the same time. We're all in our individual paths. And I bless your path and you bless mine. But what you're not gonna do is step up into my sovereign world and try to get me to drink the feed of death, doom, gloom, and destruction, and have that be my reality. Because I personally can name 10, 15, 20 businesses right now run by Black women who have seen all-time highs in sales, who have rested more, who have been nurtured more, who have gotten spiritually more in tune, who have learned and gotten closer with their children, closer with their loved ones, gone deeper into their childhood trauma, and are making more money than they did in 2019. Ask me how I know, because I'm one of those people. So yes, that's where we're living in. We're moving beyond the linear, compartmentalized waiting for, and it's the yes and. Yes, you can live in a global pandemic and thrive. Yes, we can live in a situation where there are people who are suffering, but that does not mean you have to. Yes, there might be hell of unemployment, and you can still figure out a way to carve out your own business. You can still figure out a way to bring your new earth currencies to the table and to create a lifestyle of your dreams, of your purpose. And if anything, I feel that this year has just accelerated that for me, because it's forced me to do the work at a whole next level, because what choice did I have? I'm at home. There's nothing else I can do. Or I could go outside of myself and keep waiting. I decided to take my life into my own hands, and that didn't start in 2020. That's been a practice that I've been in, and that is the opportunity of this time, y'all. A lot of us who maybe did not have the financial currency in March when they set this shit off. I didn't have a lot of that. I'm going to keep it real. I mean, I had a good amount and I was doing well, but I got goals. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to next levels. But I had the currency of community. I had the currency of collaboration. I had the currency of spirit. I had the currency of wellness. I had the currency of agility. I had the currency of imagination. See, you can't put a dollar amount on that shit. Those will be the ones that the future belongs to. The people who can imagine a freedom of expression beyond the feed, beyond the paradigm, and they're doing it, and you're doing it. And that's why we're here together, because we are that like-minded tribe, and we are magnetizing more and more and more of those people into our lives every day. And even if we cannot be with them in the physical place, spirit doesn't have a sense of time and space like that. When I speak a word of prayer, it doesn't have a sense of space and time. I don't need to physically be in the same place as you for me to be getting blessed from my ancestors' prayers. I'm getting blessed from their prayers right now. I'm a walking embodiment of their prayers today. So forget about time and space. And again, that's part of that linear, I got to see everything. Move beyond what you can see, because they're going to keep ratcheting this up. I said this before. 2020, a lot of niggas skid through, skated by. You got your relief money. You got your little stimulus check. Maybe you getting that unemployment. You know what I'm saying? You got that little cute money. But people will break in 2021 because they have not been adequately preparing their minds. Their minds. The mental health, the suicides, the people who are going to really get sick because they have bought into so much fear that their immune systems are at an all-time low. They're not breathing fresh air. They're not exercising. They're just walking around with a mask on, putting hand sanitizer, thinking that that shit's going to save them. And it won't. And we're going to see the breaking, that the not being able to pay your rent extension. All that shit's about to end. A lot of people who've been doing food banks and feeding the homeless, those companies are leaving. They're moving on to the next crisis. And so it's going to require, moving around with this light. Let me try this. Move it closer to you. Sorry, y'all. That's a little better, kind of. It's going to require those currencies. And so those are the currencies that will see us through. Those are the currencies that if you're moving from that, you're going to be building off of more of those in 2021. And we're going to create this life. We prayed for this time. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't get caught up in just what the news is showing you. There have been more eclipses, solar alignments, planetary alignments. Things have happened, the 12, 12, 12, 12, 21, 21, 11, 11, 11, 11, 20. There are so many numerological and planetary alignments that have happened this year that we'll never see again in our lifetime. So yes, white people gonna be doing their crazy shit. That ain't nothing new. What's that got to do with you? Unless you've given them your power. That's going to be what it's going to be. That hasn't changed. But that does not dictate or define where you're going. Because Mother Nature has a plan. There's other spiritual entities out here. There's other spirit guides out here. The Iyami, the divine mothers, are real. They're spirits that you don't even see. But don't sleep and think that they have forsaken us, they have forgotten us. And don't think that if you're not honoring and acknowledging them, you're okay because you're black, because you're not. We can't just use I'm black and I'm oppressed, so that gives me a get out of jail card pass. It doesn't. You are required to do your work. And your work, as I always say, what is with this lighting? Work is customized. It's not getting any different. Let me move around a little bit. Your work is customized for you. It is couture. It is based on your trauma. It is based on your childhood. It is based on the shit that's hard for you to do. Nobody said life would be easy. There is no ease and change in nature. Everything that changes has to transform. And as Yeye Louisa teaches us, you can't put sugar on shit and call it sweet. And a lot of this is just some shit. And people putting sugar on it and thinking it's going to be sweet when the reality is you can't change. This system isn't about being changed. This system is about being transformed. I used this analogy before. When you walk into a dirty ass house and somebody is like, we about to cook. Grandma's like, what am I cooking here? This is dirty. This whole shit has to be transformed before there's dishes in the sink. I can't be cooking in that. And this world is no different. It has to be transformed. We have to take the shit and we have to compost it. And we have to put our earth seeds into it based on the new earth currencies of our mind, body, and spirit, of our ancestors, of our Gungun, based on the Afro-Indigenous cosmologies of our power and our purpose. So that's what I got for y'all today. Thank y'all so much for coming through. For those of you who have come in late, I really hope you go back to the beginning and watch it. I really want you all to get this message. I just dropped a winter solstice ritual that I'm going to be doing Sunday. It's free. I really, really hope that you all join. It's a wonderful time that we will have to really tap in, do that year in review, really think about what are those mantras, what are those currencies that we want to move forward with in the year ahead. I'm just trying to move around a little bit. It's hella hot. And we're going to be doing that work. And so I hope to see you there. I hope that we have, because it's through community that we're going to get through this. Community is everything. Community is currency. And so that's the tribe we're building. So thank you all 10 people who are on it. Love you, Ashara. Thank you, Magnolia Marathon, El Maori, Eva Lee, Sunglow. Thank you, Amara. Love you, sis. Love your videos. Everybody who's on here, I'm just BK Arb. What's up? My Portland people in the house. Shannon, Bethany. Love you. My birthday twin out here. Baby mama joined us. Thank you, Natasha, Justin, Colinta, Intrinsic Formulas, Lido, Marquita, Black's Theory, Alice Mag, Roxwell, Trina Mige, Trina Alexander. I'm in your neck of the woods. Amelia, I hope we get to see each other. My Revolving Wellness, all of y'all, thank you so much for joining. I love y'all. Until then, keep shifting.